I'm Brad Wolf, and welcome to Diredan, and today I'm specifically focused on a new video that was recently released by Wizards of the Coast with Chris Perkins talking about Dungeon Master advice. And I had a very mixed reaction to this video, and I want to go over that with you and then review Chris's advice and see what you think in the comments below. So my initial reaction was, this is great. I get to see Chris Perkins talk about D&D again, something I haven't seen him do since I think 2020 when they stopped doing the Lore You Should Know videos. But then throughout the course of the video, Chris posed some really interesting questions. However, almost all of his answers were all of the above. And that's when I had a secondary reaction of, why is his advice so generic? Why all of the above to almost every question? Then I ran across Shea's video from the Lazy Dungeon Master channel, who said the same things I was thinking. It seems like it's because 5th edition has such a broad audience, because WotC is trying to reach such a large player base, that 5th edition is not a very opinionated game. The game is designed to be fairly general, so that you can use it for all different types of games. And that's something we've known for a long time. 5th edition is not great at any one specific type of gameplay, but it's pretty good at just about all types of gameplay. And so Shea reiterated that because of that, the advice needs to be pretty generic. And then I saw Wizards and Wordslingers' opinion, and I commented on his video saying exactly what Shea and I had thought. And he responded with the thought that there are a lot of people out there saying there is only one way to play D&D, and Chris Perkins' all of the above advice addresses that issue. So after all of that, I came to two conclusions. First of all, I 100% agree with Chris Perkins when he says this: how you DM is as unique as how you paint or write. No two DMs are alike, and that's as it should be. And number two, I do think it's helpful to have opinionated statements like Shea recommends. Because it's not a matter of this is the right way versus the wrong way to do something. It's this is how I do it. And if you like the way I do it, here's how to do it better. Here's how to do more. And having an opinionated stance can help you with your homebrew rules and your campaign specific rules when you want to set a certain type of tone or play a certain style of game. You can have those opinions, and those opinions can influence the way you DM and the rules you use at your table. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through Chris Perkins' questions, and I'm going to force myself to select just one best answer. And then you can see how you respond to that, and you can form your opinions about your game and how you want to develop as a dungeon master. So let's dive in. Question: what should I do if a character dies? A. Cackle with delight. B. Tell the character's player to do better next time. C. Have snakes erupt from the character's dead corpse. D. Discuss options with the dead character's player. So first of all, snakes exploding out of the dead character's corpse is both dark and hilarious at the same time, and I love it. But we're starting with a simple one on this because I 100% agree with Chris Perkins here. The answer is D. Talk to the dead character's player. Because I've definitely have players who just love making characters. Sean, Juice, Sam, I'm looking at you guys. They just always have a new character at the ready because they love making characters. So when a character dies, it doesn't really faze them that much. On the other hand, I've played in a game where we lost a character at first level, and that player hijacked the campaign, and we went on side quest after side quest trying to raise enough money to buy a diamond and pay the church to resurrect his first level character. But the DM allowed it, and none of us complained because we were all leveling up on these side quests. The only thing is I just remember looking at my friend Jay like, really? All this for a first level character? But those are two extreme examples of how different players have different expectations about character death. Question: one of my players has trouble deciding what their character should do on their turn in combat. How do I get them to play faster? A. Use an egg timer, skipping the player if they aren't fast enough. B. Signal your exasperation by rolling your eyes and sighing loudly. C. Suggest one or two good options. D. Make the initiative order visible to your players. Now, I've definitely seen both the first one and the last one recommended online multiple times. And I think both of those are not very effective. The egg timer I just find kind of annoying. And I've done the thing where you make the initiative order visible to the table. And I've played with DMs who do that, and I don't really see how it speeds up the game much. In fact, I think initiative is one of the slowest, clunkiest parts of the game. And I'm happy to do away with it most of the time. So I think the correct answer is very obviously C. You suggest one or two options to the player and you just run with it. You're a cleric and you haven't used your channel divinity, or you could always give the help action. You're a bard, you can use bardic inspiration, and don't forget, you can use your skills during combat as an action. But my favorite suggestion to give is, hey, remember that magic item that you got a couple sessions ago? Maybe now's the time to use it. Question: how much time should be spent preparing for a game session? A, none. B, an hour or two at most. C, as many hours as you can spare. D, depends. Now, because I'm forcing myself to choose just one answer, I'm going to choose B, because that's the one that comes closest to my actual prep time. Because as most of you probably know by now from watching my videos, I make a distinction between campaign prep and session prep. Now, a campaign prep, I can spend anywhere between 2 to 10 hours. And I'll be a lot closer to that 10-hour mark if I'm making my own world maps. But because I'm very thorough with the campaign prep, I don't spend much time at all on session prep. Most of the time, I only spend about 30 minutes prior to a session. Now, sometimes I can get close to an hour with my session prep, but that's usually if I'm creating my own map or I'm setting up modular dungeon tiles on my tabletop. Question: where should one keep campaign notes? A, in a journal or notebook. B, in folders on a computer. C, in a wiki. D, in an online virtual tabletop. And this one's easy for me, and if you've watched my sandbox building videos, you've seen me use folders on a computer. And the main reason I do that is because I can access them from my mobile device. So no matter where I am, I can just pick up my phone and work on my campaign or prep a session. Then when I'm running the game, I can pull up those session notes either on that same device or on my laptop. Now recently, I've been pulling those documents up on my desktop for you guys to see. Question: how do I make my players care about the campaign? A, make the campaign about the characters. B, create likable non-player characters and antagonists. C, have the characters' actions come back to haunt them. D, avoid predetermined outcomes. Now, this is really hard to not say all of the above, but I'm going to say A is the right answer. But if you do A, make the campaign about the characters, you're going to include the rest of these responses in that make it about the characters process. Now, I prefer narrative-driven games and I prefer sandboxes because as a DM, I like to be surprised by the outcome of the campaign. I don't want to know how everything's going to end. I want to build a campaign around my players and be surprised by the outcomes. Now, I know some of you prefer OSR style play, and that old school play tends to focus more on building the world with your players. So it's still focused on the players, but it's more about building the world together than it is about individual character narratives. But I prefer heroic characters in a more narrative-driven campaign. That's just me. So my answer here is a hard A. Make the campaign about the characters. Now, a lot of the hardcover adventures made by Wizards of the Coast tend to be a railroad. And I know it's hard to build a campaign with one of those adventures and really make it about the players. But I think if you subscribe and you stay tuned long enough, you're going to learn how to do that and do it well. That's the whole point of this channel, to help you be a better dungeon master. Question: the characters are about to die. How do I avoid a TPK, total party kill? A, let them die, the dice giveth and the dice taketh away. B, have the enemy show mercy or make a tactical error. C, stage a timely rescue. D, divine intervention. So my answer here is A, the dice giveth and the dice taketh away. It's okay to let the characters die if they make a poor decision. If they rush into something headlong, if they invite disaster, if they know going into the encounter that it's probably going to be dangerous, then it's okay to let the characters die. But if you make the mistake, if you misjudge the situation, and you feel like it's your fault they're about to die, have the villains show mercy or make a tactical error. So I would personally choose A, but if I had to make a recommendation, I would choose B. But I might change that just a little bit to say capture the players. If there's an opportunity to capture the players instead of a TPK, that can be a great solution. Now, normally I wouldn't recommend a prisoner scenario, because it's no fun to take away the player's agency like that. However, it is fun to roleplay the escape scenario. So in the situation where it could be a total party kill, you could always turn it into the prisoner situation and then plan the great escape scenario. Question: how do I roleplay a Galabdur, which is basically a talking boulder?
A. Lean into expectations, use a deep, gravelly voice. B. Defy expectations, give it the personality of a rock star. C. Check its intelligence score and alignment. D. Think like a rock, become the rock.
Now, Chris did a really great job designing this question because every answer is great. But to give a solid recommendation, I'm going to go with C. Check the intelligence and check the alignment of the creature. In fact, I would go even further to check the whole stat block to get a sense of the character's mood, purpose, and intentions. Now, I know a lot of people don't like alignment, but I contend it's still a very useful tool. And I have a video about it where my friend Mike and I discuss how to use alignment for both PCs and NPCs, and I highly recommend you watch that because I firmly believe that alignment is still really useful as long as you don't overthink the process. But that's my opinion.
Question. One player is hogging the spotlight. What should I do? A. After the game, have a private chat with that player. B. Make it clear when you're shining the spotlight on other players. C. Ensure every player character has moments to shine. D. Dump that player if they're spoiling everyone's fun.
One of the best things you can do is to talk about Spotlight at Session 0. At the beginning of the campaign, establish that this is a collaborative game and everybody has a voice and everybody has their chance to shine. So I say, since you've already done A and C at Session 0, then the answer to this question is B. Make it clear in the moment that you're shining the spotlight on a particular character. So you can say to the bard, I know you usually do the talking, but right now, you're in front of the Barbarian Tribunal, so maybe it's best if you let the Barbarian do the talking for the party.
Question. The Goliath Barbarian wants to ride the hostile owlbear. How should I resolve this? A. Don't allow it. B. Allow a die roll to determine the outcome. C. Look up the rules for grappling a creature. D. Ask your players for suggestions.
So this is also a great question, and I think the answer is very clear. Roll the dice. I am always in favor of rolling the dice when there's an interesting or exciting potential outcome. But let me be clear, there are times where you do not need to roll the dice. If the bard tries to seduce the dragon, no, that's not going to happen. I don't care if you just rolled a nat 20. I didn't tell you to roll. I don't care. The dragon's not interested. And there are also situations where you can save time by not rolling the dice. You're a wizard. You know that. You're a druid. You understand this. But in a situation where there's a wild, crazy potential outcome, roll the dice.
Okay, what if the owlbear is friendly instead? Allow the barbarian to succeed automatically. Require a successful ability check against a DC 5. Easy. C. Same as B, but with a higher difficulty check. Riding an owlbear can never be easy. D. Trick question. Owlbears are never friendly.
And I think the answer to this question is abundantly clear. It's D. It's a trick question. Owlbears are never friendly. Not in my world. Not friendly. But in regards to answer B, no, I would never require a check as low as a difficulty 5. Because based on what I said in response to the last question, don't make the characters roll if something's that easy. You can just say, because you're a ranger, you can do this. Because you're a dwarf, you know about stone cutting. Because you're an elf, you know about the woods. You can let the players feel successful based on choices they made at character creation, ancestry, background, and class. But again, anytime there's a chance of an exciting or interesting outcome, roll the dice. That's what they're for. It's a game. Roll those dice. Canyon, Brandy, Jordan, I'm looking at you here. That's why people buy so many dice, and they buy those nice expensive ones. We love our math rocks.
Question. My characters don't want to complete the quest laid out before them. What should I do? A. Provide additional motivation. B. Surface a more tempting quest. C. Let the players direct the story for a while. D. Tell the players you have nothing else prepared.
Now for this question, my answer stands on a previous answer. Make the campaign about the players. If you do that, then you've already done answer C. You've already let the players direct the story. So therefore, the answer becomes clearly D. Tell the players that you have nothing else prepared. If you truly have nothing else prepared, then say that. Because once again, this is a collaborative game, and you as the DM are supposed to be having fun too. Don't stress or try to placate players, especially players who are being unreasonable. And ultimately, that is my point. I want to empower you as the DM to run the games you want to run. So in conclusion, first of all, I want to say thanks for indulging me while I call out some of my players, because a lot of my recent videos they haven't been able to watch since they are all about prepping my newest campaign. And second of all, I want to empower you to have your own opinions about this game. And like I said, I agree with Chris Perkins when he says there's no wrong way to do Dungeons & Dragons. But those things are two sides of the same coin. Because there is no wrong way to do it, the way you choose to do it is right for you. So when it comes to style of play, homebrew rules that support that style of play, and developing your storytelling techniques, embrace the style of play that's right for you and your players. And as always, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Dire Den.